Well, my name is Rico Kolster. I'm a partner with Armstrong Teasdale. I graduated in 2000. I actually was an engineer for like 13 years before I decided to go to law school. I was a project manager at Black & Veatch, one of the area's biggest architect engineer firms. And things were going great. I was just an engineer and doing my engineering thing. But the firm had gotten sued by one of our clients, and they were alleging that we did something wrong. And what they were alleging that we did something wrong was one of the systems that I had designed. And so, we talked about it internally, and they decided, well, we're going to defend the lawsuit. And we had two great lawyers, Tim Triplett, who's now like the general counsel of Black & Veatch, and Michael Greer. And I was the go-between between Black & Veatch and the defense. And it took forever, and it was an arbitration. It was great, but I loved every single aspect of them. And they kind of just on a dare, they kind of urged me to take the L'00, and I was just like, for giggles, I took it, and I guess I did pretty well. And I was getting to that point in my career where I was kind of being moved up to the project management side and doing this type of things, and things weren't advancing as quickly as I thought it should have been. And we had just come off this huge win, which, by the way, we won that lawsuit, and we did really well. And my LSAT scores came back, and it did really well. And I said, well, you know what? Just go back to school. So I talked it over with my boss, and my boss said, okay, well, tell you what, if you go to school here locally and you keep working here at Black & Veatch, we'll pay for law school. So I was like, okay, well, so for me it was a no-brainer. It was either KU or UMKC, and KU was just a lot more in tune with my aspirations. So I felt at home the minute I went in there. So that's how I ended up at KU. The deal that I had with Black & Veatch is that after I graduated from law school, I would go in-house and work for them for at least 2 years. It dawned on me that, just like it was in engineering, you go through school and you get the fundamentals to be a lawyer, but you don't really learn to be a lawyer until you go and do the business of a lawyer. The problem with being an in-house lawyer is that you don't get to do that. So I started, I contacted my old mentor, who was Mike Greer and Tim Triplett, who were, the instigators of the law career to begin with. And they basically said, well, they had at that time split off from Blackwell Sanders. They had a boutique firm that does construction law, which is natural for me because Black & Veatch is in engineering. My whole background is in construction and engineering, so it made sense for me because you could come and work for us. Just look into working for a large firm because they have a lot more resources to train young attorneys. So here I was in my third year as an in-house counsel, and I was looking for a position to come into a big, large firm. Well, I happened to meet this gentleman called J.D. Moore, who's one of the partners at Bryant Cave. And I met with him, and he's like, well, this is you got a unique background. It's unique enough that would justify for you to come in as a second or third year associate. I talked it over again with my career. He goes, oh, you should go to Bryant Cave, see what they have to offer you. So I spent, 8 years of my life in Bryant Cave, made partner there, but then Armstrong Teasdale offered me an opportunity here where I can lead off a construction group here in Kansas City. So that's the bulk of my legal career. KU is very well regarded. And, I was a recruiting chair in Bryant Cave, and I started Bryant Cave used to recruit nationally for their positions here in Kansas City, but I started pushing for let's go to KU. They got a lot of great people there, and I think right now they do a lot of recruiting at KU. I'm starting to do it here in Armstrong Teasdale, where we do a lot of recruiting at KU because there's such great quality lawyers coming out of there. So why go across the nation when we got great lawyers here? Well, one of the things that I do a lot, I do it for the KCMBA. I'm in the Diversity Committee in the KCMBA. I'm also in the KU Diversity Advisory Committee, so I'm very well involved with there, trying to attract diverse students to the profession, not only to KU, but to the professional law. One of the people that influenced the way I look at law tremendously was Professor Dickinson. He teaches tax, but every single people that I mentor and every people that I see that come through and ask for advice about how to succeed at law, one of the things I say, if you're going to KU, and even if you think that tax is just the worst thing in the world, you should take that class. The things that he teaches you about law are much, much greater than tax. So when I talk about, when anybody comes and asks me, our engineers right now are thinking of switching to law or doing something, says, where should I go to school? I said, well, in this area, you can't be KU.